Hey guys, this is Arsenal Giants PS3, and this is my predicted ratings for Chelsea for 2012-13. Technically the best team in Europe, if you are going to go by the book. But you know, Chelsea, they had their ups and downs. They finished sixth. Oh, my terrible lisp. They finished in sixth position last year for the Premier League. So, you know, they were a team which had their ups and downs last season, but it had one massive up, and that was becoming crowned champions of Europe. So there are some ups and downs in this team. There are some upgrades, there are some downgrades, and again, guys, you know, I'm not. Oh Christ, I can't remember that. Di Matteo, I almost forgot his name then. I'm not Di Matteo, so I don't know what formation they're going to be playing, or what team first 11 they're going to be playing, or any of that. So this is what I've spoken to a couple of Chelsea fans. This is what they reckon their players will be rated, and this is what they reckon the starting lineup will be. So let's go straight into it. In goal, we have this man, Petr Cech. Now, Petr Cech, in my opinion, he should be rated whatever the best goalkeeper is rated. So if Joe Hart's rated 86, he should be 86. If Joe Hart's rated 85, he should be 85. I think he's one of those players which really does need to be at the top rating, purely because he is so important. Got his form back last year, made a couple of superb saves in both the Champions League final, on the road to the Champions League final, and when they held out Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, he was superb. And in my opinion, he should be rated at the top of the Premier League spectrum. Next up, we have this man, Branislav Ivanovic. Now, Branislav Ivanovic is a very good centre back, but I'm going to go out and say he's going to be probably rated as starting as a right back on this this up and coming season, where he's not quite around the 83 level, he's around the 79 level, in my opinion, only as a right back. If he starts as a centre back, I reckon he'll be an 83. But if he's a right back, he'll be a 79, if that makes sense, because he's not as good as he is as a centre back and right back. So he is one of those players which was kind of converted last year, and he did such a good job. It was such a shame not to see him in the Champions League final, as he was so important in those two games against Barcelona. And I've got a lot of time for Branislav Ivanovic. He's good in the air. He's good enough. He's good on the deck, and he's just a very, very good centre back, really. Everything a modern centre-back should be. Next up, we've got David Luiz. Now, I have downgraded him purely because he was overrated, in my opinion, in FIFA 12. David Luiz is... he's an enigma, isn't he? He's very erratic, he's very fun to watch, he's off, but as a footballer, he still needs to, you know, refine certain parts of his game, and I think he should be around the 80 level next year. Purely because he's definitely a good defender. He's 80 for a defender is a good level. That's, you know, the top echelons of defenders, but he's not quite up there with the 82s, the 83s. You know, your likes of Vermaelen, Skirtle, Agger, those kind of players. I don't think he is around those levels, and therefore I reckon he should be at level 80. Next up, we have John Terry. Now, I have taken him down 2 levels. I don't think he was an 86, to be honest. He used to be, not quite anymore. Has his ups and downs, good old John Terry, but he's still at a core one of the better centre-backs, and that's why I've given him 84, maybe 85, depends what you're thinking. I think he is a good centre-back, and he does have his games, definitely has his days, and he's one of those players which definitely deserves to be around there or thereabouts. He is definitely a good centre-back. Next up, I would say the best left-back in the world. That's going to cause a shitstorm, I'm sure. Ashley Cole is superb. He was absolutely unplayable at times for Chelsea last year, and as much as I hate the guy, I've got to admire him as a footballer, to be quite frankly honest. Ashley Cole is he's a pleasure to watch, really, and he is such a good player. And I think he definitely does deserve an 86 there. Next up, we have Frankie Lampard's. Frankie Lampard, or Fat Frank, whatever Chelsea fans like to refer to him nowadays. Frank Lampard is still a good player. Again, you know, he's kind of like John Terry. He was kind of crazily ranked, I reckon, on FIFA 12. He should be around 84. As I said with Song a couple of episodes back, he's a very good midfielder, but not quite up there with the best. And, you know, a little bit winding down, to be honest, for Frank Lampard and John Terry. They are winding down. They're getting older. They're part of a generation gone by, really, as far as England go, but they are still pretty good players. Next up, we have Ramirez. Sorry, guys, my Ramirez ranking is fucked up here. I thought I changed him into an 82, but maybe I accidentally changed his formation or position or something. I would have Ramirez as an 82 because he was superb for Chelsea last season. absolutely superb. I think an 82 would do him right. 12 goals last year in all competitions was absolutely crazy for someone who played relatively deeply in the Chelsea team actually, and he also got 6 assists. He is a player that I really, really like. He has been linked actually to going back to Cruzeiro or Cruzeiro, however you say it, in Liga do Brazil, which is weird, but I reckon, he is becoming one of the Premier League's better midfielders. He is a good player to watch, and will definitely be integral for Chelsea this season. Bear in mind he stays. I do like Ramirez, and I think he should start if Di Matteo gets it right. And sorry guys, that should be an 82. Next up we have Marco Marin, the German Messi. A pretty crazy bill to stand up to for Marco Marin. He has been there or thereabouts the kind of edge of that German team for many, many years now. Even since the 2010 World Cup, he was on the verge of, getting into that team. He played in the same Bremen side as Mesut Ozil. Obviously, Ozil kind of seized the initiative and went to Madrid. Marin has always been around that, and he is a very good player. For Chelsea fans that haven't seen him, he is a good player. He got 6 assists for Bremen last season, and I think he got something like 10 the season before. I can't quite remember. But he is a very good player for Bremen. Now Bremen have been going a bit shit recently. They've kind of been going downhill, and that's probably why he left. But he is a very, very good player, and don't underestimate his impact at Chelsea. He will be a good player, and hopefully for you Chelsea fans, he'll live up to the German Messi tag he's got. Next up is the player who I'd say is Chelsea's best player, which is crazy considering how much they've spent this year. But I would say definitely Juan Mata is an absolutely vital cog in the Chelsea side. He is their David Silva. He runs that midfield. Last year anyway he did, and he did kind of disappear a bit during some games, and that's something he'll have to work on. But he is a good player in my opinion, and he definitely deserves to be around that kind of 87 level. He's one of the Premier League's better players. Hopefully Cazorla can have, and if Cazorla can have any impact anywhere near the one Juan Mata had for Chelsea, then he will be a star. Mata should be around the same level as David Silva in my opinion. They are very alike as footballers, play the same kind of game, just behind the strikers, just kind of running that midfield with their passing ability, and I think Mata should definitely be Chelsea's best player. Hopefully he can have a great second season, just as good as his first, and we will see him around the cusp of that greatness title. Next up we have this man he has been spoken so much about, a lot of it coming from himself, is Eden Hazard, or Eden Hazard, however you want to say his first name. Now Hazard has been an enigma really in the Liga 1. He has been a breath of fresh air, the next Ronaldo, or whatever the hell you want to call him. The Belgian Ronaldo and the German Messi is not too bad for Chelsea fans next season. Hazard is a great player, I'm not going to lie. I was a bit jealous when Arsenal didn't sign him a couple of years ago when we had the chance. 20 goals and 15 assists last season, and obviously he's got something like 10 assists in the season in which Lille won Liga 1. He is such a good player, and Hazard, he will be. I know, maybe through some of the games, pre-seasons, he hasn't quite lived up to it. But if he, hits the ground running in the Premier League, Hazard will be absolutely great. And I reckon an 86 is about right for him. That's what EA have given him, so he'll probably keep that going into FIFA 13. And he's such a good player. Just I reckon he will be such a good player for Chelsea, and I'm jealous that they signed him and Arsenal didn't, and I'm sure Man United fans and Barcelona fans, or wherever the hell else he was linked with, will probably agree. Such a good transfer. Finally we have one which is much debated, Fernando Torres. Now at first I thought, Torres, he should be 83, but after his sublime Euro 2012 performance, I think that that deserves to lift him up. It is one of the hardest tournaments in world football. Euro 2012, or sorry, European Championships, they are a very, very tough tournament, and just like Müller in the 2010 World Cup when he got those he got that top scorer award, he got a massive boost on FIFA. I think Torres should get the same. Well, technically a boost from what he could have been. Now obviously he had a very tough season in the Premier League last year, did score a hat-trick, but if he hadn't gone to Euro 2012 and done so well, I would have put him at around the 83 level, but because of that Euro 2012 performance in which he got top scorer, I think he deserves to be an 85. He doesn't deserve the massive cut down in stats that many people were saying. I think he's a great player on his day, and hopefully, I like Fernando Torres. I hope he can regain that form that he once had. So that pretty much concludes this Chelsea team. Again, I'm sorry if the starting lineup isn't correct of whenever you're watching this, or maybe they've brought in Hulk or God knows who else. And thanks guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode.